It's February and the first race of the season for me. It's my first race since I went Afib day after the District Road Race Championships this past June. I'm on the start line and the whistle's about to be blown. An official comes up to me and says, "Don't make me do CPR on you."
Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusas, the Cycling Greek. The Cantua Road Race takes place on a 13-mile stretch up and down, located near I-5 outside of Coalinga in California's Central Valley. Cantua is often thought of as a flat road race with a few overpass type climbs. However, 2 miles from the end of the first lap, which is also the same course as 2 miles from the end of the finishing lap, which is the next lap, the overpass is a little bigger, the intermittent climbing starts, and the final 2 kilometers is a little steeper. My racing age in this 55s group is now 64, which means I'm at the butt end of the racing demographic. We had about 20 starters and I didn't see any fluff in this. This pack was well represented by Cal Nats, Penn Velo, Ham Nutrition, and Revs Racing. Being Afib boy and not having any teammates, I was not going to stick my nose into the wind. My goal for this race was to make it 3.5 of the 4 lengths, getting over that big overpass with the pack. Anything after that would be extra. That, however, was in danger of not happening. As we went over the steep part at the end of the first lap, the pack was stretched out and breaking apart. I unfortunately was on the back end of that. As I crested over the top, I was right behind the wheel of a very strong time trialer, Robert Naporalski from Mike's Bikes. We hooked up with 3 other riders, and the 5 of us for the next 14.5 minutes chased until we finally connected. That connection would fortunately come well before the final turnaround where the wind direction would change and the speed of the pack would increase. The first part of this final 13-mile leg was dominated by an alliance between Ham Nutrition's Quentin Sims and Revs Racing's Scott Hollander. Scott would go up the road. Quentin would wait, then attack, then bridge up to him and attempt to stay away. This was attempted a number of times. While this had a wearing effect on the pack eventually nullified this attempt. But the fun wasn't over yet. There was more tacking and counterattacking. The pack split up into small groups. Each small group would find another group, work together, and eventually coalesce into a pack. It was right before that final coalescing where I was starting to redline and I had to back off. I had to back off so much that I found myself off the back. Keeping that goal in mind and not having reached it yet, I started to chase. It took me 6.5 minutes before I reconnected with the pack. Thankfully, the pack had slowed down so they could gather energy for the finishing climbs. As soon as I connected, I went up to mid-pack so I can get some breathing room. As we start up the big overpass, which marks the final 2 miles of this race and the beginning of the series of finishing climbs, I'm starting to feel a lot better. I think to myself, hey, I just reached my goal. Let's see what else I can do on top of this. To state that I was stretched in this final 2 miles of the race is an understatement. With about a mile to go, I got to see why there wasn't a lot of fluff left in this pack. Still, I didn't let up. I continued to chase after those that were spit out of the pack after I was. No matter the results, I still get the race, and that's what's important to me. As I create this commentary the next day, my heart is still in sinus rhythm. Life is good. This is the first time I got to use a rear camera setup. Unfortunately, I couldn't use any of the video. While some of the clips look like this, most of the clips, because of the conditions, look like that. Remember, if you want to get notified about my next video, which is coming out pretty soon, subscribe to my channel and click that little notification bell.